Have you ever felt like you were carrying a burden so heavy that it seemed impossible to bear? Maybe it's a lingering illness, a deep emotional wound, or an emptiness that nothing seems to fill. But what if I told you there's a miracle, a source of healing so powerful, so transformative, that it doesn't just fix what's broken, but renews your entire life? The Bible isn't just a collection of ancient stories, it's a living testimony of miraculous healing. Moments when the impossible becomes possible, when lives are restored in ways beyond imagination. These aren't just stories for the past, they're stories for you right here, right now. Are you curious about how these ancient accounts can speak directly to your life today? Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you might just discover the miracle waiting for you. Let's start in the Old Testament, where God introduces himself as a healer. In Exodus 15:26, he declares, "I am the Lord who heals you." Imagine the scene. The Israelites, freshly escaped from slavery, are wandering through a barren desert. They find water, but it's bitter and undrinkable. Just as despair sets in, God intervenes, turning the water sweet. But think about it. This wasn't just about quenching their thirst. It was a reminder that God doesn't just meet physical needs, he restores hope. What areas in your life feel bitter? Could there be a moment where God is ready to step in and turn it all around? Then there's the story of Naaman in 2 Kings 5, a powerful military commander crippled by leprosy. When the prophet Elisha tells him to wash in the Jordan River 7 times, Naaman hesitates. It seems too simple, almost foolish, but when he obeys, he is completely healed. Doesn't that make you wonder? How often do we overlook God's solutions because they seem too simple to work? Fast forward to the New Testament and healing becomes central to Jesus' ministry. If you've ever doubted God's care for you, just look at Jesus. Everywhere he went, he touched the untouchable, restored the broken, and gave hope to the hopeless. Take the story of the woman with the issue of blood in Mark 5. For 12 long years she suffered. She spent everything she had on doctors, but only grew worse. But in a moment of desperate faith, she reaches out to touch the hem of Jesus' robe, and she's healed instantly. But here's the part that might surprise you. Jesus didn't just let her walk away healed. He turned to her and said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you." He didn't just heal her body, he restored her identity. And then there's Bartimaeus, the blind beggar in Mark 10. When Jesus passed by, Bartimaeus cried out, "Son of David, have mercy on me." The crowd tried to silence him, but he wouldn't stop. And Jesus, he stopped for Bartimaeus. He asked, "What do you want me to do for you?" and then restored his sight. Doesn't it make you wonder, what if Jesus is asking you the same question today? What would your answer be? Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Faith is a thread that runs through every healing story in the Bible. But it's not about having perfect faith, it's about trusting in who God is. Think of the paralytic man in Mark 2, whose friends were so determined to get him to Jesus that they tore a hole in a roof to lower him down. Jesus, seeing their faith, not only healed the man but forgave his sins. What's powerful here is that it wasn't the man's faith. It was the faith of his friends. Have you ever considered how the people around you could carry you closer to healing? And yet there were times when faith was absent. In Mark 6:05-6, we read that Jesus could do very few miracles in his hometown because of their unbelief. Isn't that a sobering thought? It makes you wonder, how might our own doubts hold us back from experiencing what God is ready to give? If you think the miracles stopped with Jesus, think again. After his resurrection, his followers carried on his mission. performing healings that left entire communities in awe. One unforgettable story is in Acts 3, where Peter and John encounter a lame man at the temple gate. The man asks for money, but Peter replies, "Silver or gold I do not have, but what I do have I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, walk." And just like that, the man leaps to his feet, walking and praising God. Can you imagine the scene? A man who spent his life begging is now running and shouting for joy. Here's the bigger picture. Every healing in the Bible points to something beyond the physical. Jesus' miracles weren't just random acts of kindness. They were signs of God's kingdom breaking into the world. They showed that God's ultimate plan is to restore not just individuals but all of creation. In Revelation 21:04, we're given a glimpse of this future. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. Doesn't that stir something in you? A longing for a world where every wrong is made right? So, what do these incredible stories mean for you? They're not just ancient miracles, they're living reminders that healing, restoration, and hope are within reach. Maybe you're carrying a burden too heavy to bear, or maybe you're waiting for a breakthrough. Whatever it is, remember this: the same God who healed the blind, the sick, and the broken is still working today, and your story might just be the next miracle waiting to happen. If this message touched your heart, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments. What part of these stories spoke to you the most? And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Let's spread hope together. Don't forget to like this video if it inspired you, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss more content like this. Let's journey through faith, healing, and hope together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.